So I'm Jeroen, or what you call Jerry,
Yay.
for the people have a hard time pronouncing my name as well. And I live with my girlfriend in a very small town in the Netherlands near the coast.
Ooh.
And with our son Ruben as well. And he was 2 years old when I got selected to Polar. But I was already applying for almost 10 years, so it came before
Okay,
our son.
far before he's
Yeah, yeah. I never really thought about it, but I think when Ruben, when he was born, of course, obviously that year I didn't apply for that year. That was like, I'm not gonna apply if my kid is a few months old. Yeah, so I skipped a year, but so last year I applied as well for 23, and oh, I did go through, of course, because I got in 24. But he
Mm.
was 2 years old when he got in, and it was a bit of an exciting thing because I did think to myself, because that's now I get to share something with my son. Now I got selected, instead of well, I mean, if I would have selected like a couple of years ago, I would have told him as well. But it's different now. It's
Yeah.
different leaving in sort of at home. So that's a different perspective on fatherhood as well. But it's yeah.
But how do you manage it? Like, you have a 2 years kids, and how do you manage like who's taking care of him while you are away? And how do you talk to him about like, oh, daddy's going to be away for a week or something? Is he okay with
Yeah.
that? Or challenging?
Well, it's since he's been born, I've been on a couple of adventures as well. So I've been on like there's also the classics, but also other hikes and out
Oh,
with friends. And my girlfriend does the same. A little less than what I do, but I do a little bit more adventuring. And
yeah.
I think it's in the I think it's just in the spirit of it. I think I like to go out and um, adventure and explore stuff, while I still feel like I'm good enough to do it. And you never know what's gonna happen, so just make the most of it. And but it doesn't really change now that he's around. But what does change is the practical things, of course. I mean, we gotta. My girlfriend stays home, so she's has to plan things more ahead. Well, we always do it together. We always say like, I try to get a week off in, let's say, February, and then we have to plan in advance who's gonna pick him up from daycare, where he's gonna stay that day and that day. So we plan ahead, and if everything works out, then I plan my adventures. So it's always like a triangle together. We always work together, and we got to make sure that he's fine first, and then my adventure comes up.
So a
So
lot
we
of
respect each
communication.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. We gotta. That's the first main thing. If that works out, then I go and plan my adventure. It's not the other way around. This is gonna be so. And once that's all planned out, and I know something's coming up, like Polar was pretty fixed, so it's a little different because I didn't know I was going to be picked, of course, in November, but I did know I was participating for like a spot, so it could happen.
Yeah.
So he already said like, all right, if I'm gonna get picked, I mean, I've been saying that for 10 years, so that's a
Wow.
bit of. I've been saying that like, if it does happen this year, we gotta make sure that we got like daycare stuff in order. So we already did like plan that in November, just
Yeah.
in case. But it was a bit of like with a smile, like, I don't know, I'm not gonna get chosen this year, maybe next year, but. Well, yeah. So once you get the practical things in order, like communication, daycares, that sort of things, once it's fixed, we start like talking to Ruben. That's my son's name. Saying like, well, Daddy's gonna be away for a week, and what's he gonna do? He's gonna go to Sweden, and he's taking your little stuffed animal, and we're gonna go with dog sledding, and we see all those things in some order every day, like just for fun. And then after a few days, he starts to repeating it, and then he starts asking questions about it. So
You
really gets
were
into the
watching
groove
him.
itself.
I'm
Yeah, a
joking.
little bit. Yeah, it worked.
It works.
So
Do you
yeah.
remember
So
what his
after
dad is going to do? Something like
Yeah,
that.
but it's fun, like, because it prepares him as well a bit for a week. And the days before that is like, oh, it's only 3 days. Oh, it's only 2 days. And then the day when when they're dropping me off, well, my girlfriend's dropping me off with Ruben at the airport. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, daddy's gonna go to Sweden with the dogs and blah blah blah.
Wow.
I
That's
mean,
so
he's prepared for it as well. And when he comes home, he even asks about, yeah, like the doggies and everything. I mean, he's not
wow.
gonna remember in a few years. He's gonna pass that. That's fine, but it's the experience for him as well.
Well, but I'm so surprised because he's only 2 years old and he can already remember that much. Like when you starting to tell him and he was like starting to remember,
Hmm.
and even like when you are going and he will say, "Oh, daddy is going now for that."
Yeah, yeah.
I
So I
believe
got like
really,
photo albums as well. So
yeah,
if I show him the pictures, he already says like, "Oh, that's daddy is like in Sweden with the dogs," and he's still got that going on. It's gonna pass on in a few years, like when he's not gonna remember when he's 10 or something. But if
wow.
he sees the pictures of me, it might ring a bell, and
Oh, so
so it's
cute.
all about those memories.
Because I believe there's, in a way, some people might think, oh, if I'm going, if my kids knows, they will be so like a crying or sad. So maybe I just don't
Yeah,
let him know until the last minute. But that's actually, that's such a good strategy. Like let him get used to it.
yeah, it's preparation, and it's not just for him; it's for me as well because you're excited, you're getting into the whole idea of going there, so you're
Yeah.
preparing yourself a little bit as well because of course you're gonna miss your kid when you're out there, but it works both ways.
Yeah. And how do you feel like when you were out there? Do you sometimes you miss your kids, or like when
Yeah,
during the trip, like do you
yeah,
miss
it's
a lot?
it's like the when I was at the airport, we had to say goodbye, and that's always a little bit of a it's fun for him. He doesn't realize how long you'll be gone. You can say you're gone for like 2 days or a month. It's
Yeah.
not like the realization of him yet, but it's going to be like a week and the day when you're sitting in the airport and in the plane itself. Your mind gets a bit of extra time to think about it, and then you can get a bit sad of it. But once the plane has landed and you see the other people like from Polar, you get the whole group together.
Yeah.
Then you're just in a different kind of mode. Your brain just clicks, and then you're in on mode. You're in expedition mode.
Yeah.
And
Expedition mode. That is awesome.
yeah, that's the way the brain works. It goes on survival mode. Like, all right, the main thing to do is to
Yeah.
absorb the information and go into the expedition. And once you get some free time, like when you set up camp, then you're just laying in the tent, and then your mind like, all right, so I got some free time. Let's think about home for a little bit. Let's reflect, and then you start to miss him, and then it's like, oh crap, I've left my son at home, and
Oh, really? Oh, you
you
have
know,
those moments? Wow. Okay, that's
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I did prepare a little bit for that, so I got like a few pictures, my favorite shots of Ruren. I got on my phone, so I quickly opened my phone if I had some battery, because
oh.
all the batteries died out there. So I got
Yes,
to look at some pictures,
same as
like
me.
swipe through the pictures, and then I'm like, ah, there he is again.
Oh. And did it
Get
like
some.
text your girlfriend, says like how's everything at home and everything like that? Like can I say
I,
hi to Ruben or something like that?
I tried texting him a little, but it didn't really get through. I think like I think day one or day two maybe I got like little messages in.
Mhm.
But I wanted to be offline for like for the duration of the expedition. But I did sneak some WhatsApp messages through, and I got some messages back. But I'm like 100% uh sure of it that it wasn't that nothing would come up, nothing would go wrong or whatever at home.
Yeah.
It's like I'm there's like 0% of inside of me that has like a doubt or whatever about what's going on at home. It's gonna work out fine. I'm sure of it. Didn't that that's I've been away for a few times now, and it works after a
Yeah.
while. It doesn't do it
Yeah, yeah.
the first time. It didn't feel like I got homesick and I missed my son when he was like 4 months old. So that was a rough trip, but you gotta trust each other as well. So it's he's an easy kid, and she's a good mom, so we will be fine.
Oh wow. Yeah, I think that's a very important part. Like if who never left their kids, like or
Yeah.
this is the first time, maybe they will be very nervous about like worry at home, or
Hmm.
but like you said, you need the trust of your partner, and also you need to you had a few experiences, so you don't really get to be worried. And also you have to do some exchange in advance. Sounds like very proper plan for the whole thing.
Yeah, I like a bit of planning as well. And Polar, it wasn't, in Polar you don't make the schedules or the planning, but everything before and afterwards is, it's my planning. I know what's going to happen, and
Yeah.
I know it's going to be fine at home. So yeah, like you say, communication and proper planning. It's
Wow.
an experience, this, if you haven't done anything like this as a parent before, I think Polar will be pretty intense for a first time. As in, you won't have any reception, you won't get to check whatever. You're constantly working, so that might be hard. But on the other hand, if you can, make it work during Polar, other trips will probably be very easy.
Yeah, so it's yeah, it was funny because everyone in the tent, nobody knows who's falling asleep or who's missing something or
Mhm.
what is everyone's doing, but it's yeah,
Yeah.
like
I remember, I think Floor and I had I think it was the first night when we had the warm bathroom, at the campsite when we get warm each other up a little bit there. Everybody was standing in the bathroom there steaming. It was like a sauna. And I remember Floor coming in as well. She was missing something from home as well. She was having a bit of a rough time. And then I wasn't
Oh.
really thinking about it, but then she made me, reflect as well. I was like, shit, I miss my son as well.
Oh, I
I wasn't
forgot to
planning on. I forgot to get emotional about it. And then I was like, oh shit, yeah, I miss him as well. And that's now you say, yeah, I got it.
That's so
But
funny.
it's a fun little thing. You don't know what's going on,
Yeah.
what's going on inside the rest of your teammates' head. But once you start talking about it, everybody's like, oh, I miss everybody at home. Whoa, and everybody's crying. And it's like, oh, tears don't freeze, remember? But
Yeah, at first I thought everyone was super busy because we're always like running around, boiling the
Mhm.
water and then eating and then, kept the tent and everything, feeding the dogs. Seems like you don't
Yeah,
have any time to think about anything else
no,
until you
that's true.
really get into the tent and you're ready to sleep. And
Yeah,
then,
or somebody in the group just ask you the question, "Are you okay? Do you miss home or something?" And then like, "Woo," everybody's like, "Yes, I do."
so
Don't
funny.
ask me the question. Just go to work.
And how about like your kids after you go back home and then you share your experience with him? Do you feel like the kids really got inspired? But if he's two, maybe he's just like, oh, my dad is so cool.
Yeah, it's a bit. I think it's a bit. He's a little bit young for that as well. He's like two and a half or something when he got home.
Yeah,
He was born in 7th December, so he's like 2.5 ish.
yeah.
But once he got home, it was like he just came running to me, gave me a hug, and it's everything's fine again. Oh, daddy's home. That's it.
Dad is back again.
Yeah, and it's normal business for him. Well, it's hard to because I know he doesn't. I can just say I came from Sweden. I went with the dogs, and that's it. It's not like I think I could get to tell him in a couple years when he's a bit older to
Yeah,
get more into details with the stories and whatever.
yeah.
I think he's a bit, it's like I said, it was like usual business, just back on track,
Yeah, but still, I think
which
for
is
other parents or adults, I think they would maybe think, wow, that's so wild. And you really not only even when he's you said 4 months old and you went to the
yeah,
classic, I think you were really being you, but you're not like you don't sacrifice what you love for having a kid, but you can also taking care of the family at the same time. Like from what
yeah.
I think it's really awesome because for me, at least for me, that's why I'm not having I don't have a kid yet because I don't know. I maybe in the end, maybe this interview is I did it for myself, to try to persuade myself. You don't have to be sacrifice anything you
I don't
love.
have to persuade you to have kids. Take your time. Don't
Yeah,
rush it.
you guys are so like inspiring for me. I feel like you didn't really, sacrifice what you want or what you like, and you really do be you, and I like that.
Yeah.
It's
it's like a two-way street, because like you say, I don't sacrifice what I want to do, because I have to like stay at home and be a parent like 24/7, because I am, even when I'm away, I'm still a parent 24/7. Doesn't
yeah,
give me a timeout or whatever. But it's more like, it's double, because I get the experience from, obviously, for myself, because I want to do those expeditions and whatever. But I also want to gain that experience and the knowledge to pass on to him, because I can say, like, I can talk to him like in 10 years and say, you should go on an expedition. But what if I haven't gone to anything like that? I don't know what I'm talking about. I want to be able to say to him, like, that's important to, to protect it, to get knowledge of it.
yeah,
But I have to know what I'm talking about from past experience. I can, that's the best way to gain
true.
knowledge of it. So I've done it yourself.
Yeah,
It's easy to say, like, someone, you should go to, I don't know, you should go to, like, Spain. It's beautiful. Have you been there? I haven't been there. It looks beautiful in pictures, but I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
It's gain the experience, to get the knowledge, and pass it on. That's it, basically what comes, that's
true.
the second thing that comes with it.
Yeah, definitely. If you say like I've been there and it's amazing, you should go and have a look. And it definitely more like convincing other than look at this picture on this magazine. I think it must be beautiful. So
Yeah, exactly.
especially
It
you
doesn't.
won a Polar, and I think it's even you try so many times, you never give up, and you really get it. I think that's that's not everything. Everyone will probably they will give up after the first time. They will think, it's not me. It's never gonna be
Yeah.
me. But yeah, you just keep on
Hmm.
trying. It's also
Yeah.
how do you feel about it?
Stubborn.
Yeah, you were like because you create the chat, right? The chat of the Instagram
Yeah.
chat. You connect everyone all together, and then I also feel like that's the conversation how to bring everyone more closer. And yeah, thanks for doing that. So everyone can update
Yeah, no worries.
even before like although it's like because everyone in different time zones, so we always have to be
Hmm.
updated.
It's
Text
hard.
go through. But yeah, it's really nice to feel we are so far but also so close with the
Yeah, it's still like connected group, and I wanted to kick that off, like, right off the bat. Like, all right, we're a group, we're gonna be here.
yeah.
Just get prepared, and
How do you feel that you've been applying for so many years and finally you got it?
it's a bit of a weird thing, actually, because I remember, like, I was home early from work, because I was like, I think it was like at around 4 o'clock or something for us in the
Yeah.
afternoon. So I was just sitting on the couch at like 4:10 ish, or 4:15, and then listening to the first five group of participants who were chosen.
Yeah.
And I saw some, and I don't remember out of my head who it was. But I remember seeing those five, because I think I was number 9 or something, I think, and then Floor after me. Because I think, like, if I was 9, I saw number 8 coming up, and I was like, screw it. Maybe next year. It's already halfway gone. So I was just going to the kitchen and grab some snacks, and while I was opening the drawer, I was just looking
Oh, you
inside of
mean
it, and then and then I heard something like, I think I heard Carl saying my name, like, Jeroen, and I was like, is that me? And I'm Netherlands, and like, oh, that's gotta be me. And then I looked around the TV, and then I already saw Floor's picture coming in. It's like, did I get chosen, or and then I think I have, but and then a friend of mine called me up, a Dutch friend. He's
yeah.
like, "Oh, you got chosen." I was like, sorry, what?" Shit, I did. And then I
Wow.
rewinded it, and I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, I got it." It's like weird because I remember my girlfriend was in the car. I didn't want to call her because she was in the car. I was like, drive safe, get home first.
Yeah.
So I sent a picture to her family group chat, just with a screenshot. And then my girlfriend was reading it, and I don't know what, she was like in the car, like, and then she called, and then she stopped on the side of the road and called me. I said, "Don't stop on the side of the road, just keep going."
That's
I
so
wanted to surprise everybody.
oh, that's so cute. Thank you so much. Have a good
Yeah,
day.
thank you too. Have a
Yeah.
good day. Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.